like God's promise that he's going to gather all of us that have been turned away for very many different reasons. Sometimes we've been turned away because the other churches just didn't accept who God had created. Sometimes we've been turned away just by circumstances in our lives. Circumstances that said, I'm at the bottom of the ring. Nobody loves me. As my mama used to tell me, nobody loves me, nobody likes me, I think I'll go and eat worms. And sometimes that's the way we've all felt. We felt that way. We felt that we were different, that we were less than. I think those are the words I hate more than anything. Less than. For you see, God sees us all as very special people. People that God has created in God's image. And I think we forget about that sometimes. We look at those that are slightly different. No matter what that difference may be, whether it's the color of our skin, whether it's what God created in us. That part of us that says, my life is only shared with someone of the same sex. Or my life says, the body God gave me at this particular time and moment was not what the inside of me God gave me. And so I'm going to make them work together. And people look down on us because some of us said, I made a mistake. Well, what do you mean? It wasn't too long ago that if you were married to one person and you got a divorce, your church said, you no longer belong here. You know, you can't be part of God's dominion, or if you are, you're going to be a second-hand citizen. And we thought, but the relationship just wasn't working. Sometimes when I do a marriage ceremony, I really want to change some words in it. The words I want to change are, from death do us part to when love does us part. Mm. For you see, some of us do part when love just isn't there. For whatever reason. Because some of us did certain things to please our parents. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some of us did certain things to please our church. Some of us did certain things just because we didn't know what else to do. And so, not all of us have lived perfect lives. At least perfect in the eyes of the world. But I do believe that God said, I'm going to gather all those people, each and every one of them, all those that don't conform to what those shepherds out there have been saying. You can't be part of God. You can't be part of God if you don't, or if you have, or if you will. I love Jimmy Carter. I think he's a great man, a great president, because he cared. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that he used to say that I used to think, oh Lord, I'm in trouble. Yeah. Is if you desired it in your heart. Yeah.
It's the same thing as doing it.
It's the same thing as doing it.
Yeah, it always scared me too.
Scared you. Especially when you were a child and you desired special things. Like, I want clothes like everybody else is wearing. I want money to spend. For me, sometimes it was I wanted a mom and dad that lived together. Mm-hmm. And that loved me for who I was. And weren't always telling me that You'd be such a pretty girl if you just do your hair and put some makeup
Uh-huh.
on. All those things. All those things. Well, my mama was heavy, so she knew that and said lose weight. But all those things that separated us. I think of those shepherds, and I'm not saying they're bad people, I'm really not. Because I think a lot of them believed what they were taught, just like we believed what we were taught. But I think their hearts weren't open to what God was saying. That God said in His promise, all God's people, I'm going to gather them together. And I'm going to put a shepherd over them that loves each and every one of them. And that shepherd came and died for us, each and every one of us. And not only died for us, but rose again. There's nothing like being with a group of people that really love Christ. Because if they really love Christ, guess what? They really love each other. They love to be in the company of what my Baptist church used to call the saints.
Mm-hmm. Saints.
And the saints, to me, are God's creations, God's people. The people who are here on the earth. The people who share in God's dominion. How do we share in God's dominion? Well, God made sure we did. You see, He sent John, who paved the way, who said, come to the river and confess your sins. He also said, be baptized, and I'm not sure I always believe that you have to be baptized. Because I think I'm a little bit like my old Baptist preacher who used to say, you can go down as a as a dry sinner and come up as a wet sinner. The change is made in our hearts. The change is made when we say to God, here I am. I give up. I can't do it. I especially can't do it on my own. I need Jesus to be there with me, for loving me, caring for me, and helping me out on the way. For you see, I don't always know right from wrong. And I know sometimes I do wrong. So I need Jesus there to tell me what's right and what's wrong. To give me the courage that when I hurt those around me, that I say, I'm sorry. I know I'm less than perfect, but I'm trying hard. And will you please forgive me? God has called us into this world to be part of that particular group that He called His shepherds. Metropolitan Community Church, we call all of our members ministers or shepherds. Shepherds for those around us. Shepherds that will stop for a moment and love you, help you if they can, definitely pray for you, and reach out. Reach out to those who are not loved. Reach out to those who are disenfranchised, like that word.
Mm-hmm.
For it means cut off from society. Their rights taken away from them. See, because Jesus and God told us again what we needed to do, and again in the book of Jeremiah. I need you to live a righteous life and to do justice. To do God's justice. For God said, I'll gather all my sheep together, and I'll punish the shepherds who have scattered them. But I'll gather my sheep together, and I'll send the shepherd to to love them. To love them unconditionally. To bring them into the fold. To tell them, yes, you are God's beautiful creations. You are what God created you to be, and we're so happy to have you here. Today is the day when we celebrate Jesus as our King, as our Savior, our Sovereign, our all in all. And I believe to do that, we need to celebrate Christ in our life, Christ in the lives of the people around us, each and every one of us. I believe we need the courage to step up and say, all God's people are included. There are none that fall short, for all are included, and all are loved. Welcome them. Welcome each and every one of them into the doors of your particular fellowship, to accept them for where they stand, to forgive them when they don't agree with us. Hard thing to do. But forgive them when they don't agree. And practice what Jesus practiced. Not condemning, but loving. Not discriminating, but including. Oh, it was a practice for Jesus, something he learned. Because he had, and there's places in the Bible where it shows that he discriminated because somebody didn't believe as he did. The woman who asked for her daughter to be healed. And he said, should the rabbi throw good food to the dogs of this world? And she answered, but even they let the dogs eat the crumbs. And he saw in himself where he was wrong. And all God's children should be included, because he immediately healed her daughter. Are we willing to immediately heal those around us through our love, through our beliefs, through our actions? I think that's the question that we need to ask ourselves today of all days, on that day that we celebrate Christ as reigning over our lives, being our shepherd. Amen.
Amen.